Let me make sure we are live. Bear with me here. Okay, yep, everything is already live. We're good to go. All right. Alright, good evening everyone. This is Venom with We Have Blended Entertainment, and we are less than 24 hours away from the launch of Starfield. Let me get everything adjusted here. I am testing out my new streaming setup here, so bear with me. I wanted to make just a stream tonight. I didn't want to do a full-on video and edit it, because I wanted to talk a bit more off the cuff, and go over some last-minute details about Starfield. Starfield information is all over the place at this point. There were some articles I was looking at. Everyone's pretty much grasping to put out whatever content they can this close to launch, or the launch of Starfield. I've seen everything from controversies that aren't controversies to people just... I did an article the other day that I'm going to get into that everybody else is starting to cover now, too. If I was a bigger YouTuber, I probably would have been one of the first ones to cover it, but everyone's kind of covering it now, which I think is a good thing. But first things first, how's everybody doing tonight? Again, if you don't know, Starfield is going to be launching tomorrow, 12 a.m. UDT. Preload is already ready to go for Steam. I believe it's already ready to go for Xbox, so go ahead and start preloading the game if you got it. Again, this is only if you have early access for the game. That's $100. It's an extra $40 on top of the $60 the game cost. For everyone else, the official release date is September 6th. But for those with early access, again, you can start preloading now, and we will be able to play the game tomorrow. That being said, there has been so much bullshit around this damn game that is not even out yet. It is not even funny. There have been some major leaks that have dropped. Again, I did go ahead and check out some of them. I just kind of peeked around. I didn't want to get too deep into them. I've seen a few photos, nothing game-breaking or spoiler or anything that would spoil the game for me. But you can see some tweets up right now. People are having a bitch fit, apparently, about there being borders on planets. That's the first thing I want to kind of talk about. People are pretty much finding any reason to hate on the game. I've seen a lot of, and I really hate console war bullshit, but people are having issues with the game because it's not coming to PlayStation 5. I've seen, and I hate the term fanboy, but there's no other way to put it. I've seen a lot of diehard PlayStation fans getting really pissed off about the game not coming to PlayStation, and the only thing they had to do was to lash out and look at anything possible to nitpick the game about. I think we all know if the game was coming to PlayStation, they probably wouldn't be doing that. And don't get me wrong, there was plenty to knock Bethesda on, and that's one thing I don't want anyone to think is that I'm just some diehard Bethesda fan. I am, don't get me wrong, I love their games, but that does not mean I can't be objective. And I even understand that just because, technically speaking, I can't be 100% objective. Nobody can, and especially since I'm a fan, I'm always going to have some kind of rose-tinted glasses on, but I can still take a step back and objectively look at something, and I can admit that the last few launches Bethesda have not been great, especially RPG-wise. I know they came out with a I think it was a first-person shooter here recently that was terrible. I never played it, was never interested in it. I don't even remember what the name of it was, but that was a bomb. But the last couple of actual RPGs, Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, have not been great. Fallout 4 was criticized heavily, and still is, because a lot of the role-playing elements were pulled off of it. And 76, of course, it had so many controversies in one game. Not just the game itself, but the way they handled a lot of their merchandise and pre-order stuff. It was insane, and quite frankly, I'm surprised people have forgotten about it. Like, some people just kind of forgot that some of that stuff happened. But that being said, I'm still looking forward to the game. I'm going to judge it accordingly, not just as a fan, but as a reviewer, or try to judge it as a reviewer, objectively. We'll see. Oh, that is for the, ooh, that's gonna be fun. One Piece, live action. But, yeah, we're gonna get into some of the quote-unquote controversy going on. First things first, like I said, people are kind of grasping at whatever details they can to kind of put out whatever content they can right now. And one thing that has come out from some of the leaks works is that there are actually borders on the planets. Now, one thing Todd Howard, and I think a few other people might have said, but I know Todd Howard said that you can walk around an entire planet, or I should say explore an entire planet. And apparently, when you land on a planet, you can only go so far away from your ship before you hit an invisible wall and it says turn back. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we were told we could explore an entire planet, but it looks like we're going to be hitting borders instead. Now, from what I understand is you have to go back to your ship and then choose a different landing spot. So instead of just being able to walk from one cell to another, you've got to actually land in the different cells. Now, when I heard you can walk around different planets, and I think most people thought you would be able to do exactly that, walk around different planets when they said you could explore them, not getting your ship take off and land in a different spot. Now Bethesda, let me get I had hair on there, on my camera. Bethesda was really clever when they did this. They never actually outright said you could walk around in a planet, uninterrupted. What they said was that you could explore the planet. Now, some people are defending Bethesda, saying technically they didn't say this. Others are saying they flat out lied. It lies somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to go ahead and lie on the deceptive part of that. I think when you're told you could explore an entire planet, you don't think you got to keep reloading areas or reloading chunks one at a time to do that. I think most people would logically think you could explore around and walk around the planet somewhat uninterrupted without having to take off again and reload a cell. Even if there's loading times, I wouldn't think you'd have to go all the way back to your ship, take off, go to the next cell, do that again. That's not something I think most people would think. And again, legally, technically, they didn't say that you couldn't explore the entire planet. They were pretty clear you could explore the whole planet, but they didn't alleviate this issue popping up now. And there was lots of tweets of people just freaking out. This is not even the same game. Freaking out about this whole boundary thing. Again, I'm not going to put a lot of the tweets up just because there are spoilers in a lot of these. But yeah, like I said, Starfield boundary reach drama was very stupid. That's all I'll say from Paul Tassi. I agree. That is really stupid. Even with this issue, you can still explore the whole planet. I still don't think it's that big of an issue that you cannot walk unimpeded, but like I said, I'm definitely going to give the ding to Bethesda on this one. That's not what they made it seem when they were talking about this. So I'm definitely going to give the ding against Bethesda on this one. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Quite frankly, I would say that if we... Hey, what's up there, Jordan? How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. I would say definitely, and let me go ahead and I'm just going to move the chat over here too, so I can see it. Again, new stream setup, so I'm not, I got to get used to it. I've got the chat set up here, so now you guys can see this. But, and forgive me, I haven't shaved my head, so I got the whole U-shape. It's crazy. I saw your Starfield DLA speculation video yesterday. Sorry, I'm trying to slow down when I talk. I know I'm talking too loud. I saw your Starfield DLC speculation video yesterday. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. That article that came out from Game Rant, I saw a few other YouTubers covering that one today as well. It's not just me that was kind of pissed off that Game Rant is kind of making a controversy out of this. And the YouTuber I saw, I mean, they put it pretty good. They're trying to make a controversy out of a positive, and all it is just clickbait at this point. I mean, there's no issues really known with the DLC yet. They were trying to complain and say, well, since the game is so big, the DLC or story DLC is pointless. I don't think anybody in their right mind would think that. So that's dumb. That's like saying Skyrim's got so much story that, hey, other DLCs that came out for it would be pointless. That doesn't make any sense. But like I said, that's part of the issue right now, is that there's a lot of people that are just trying to make controversies about this game just to make controversies. I've seen that from different news publications. Like I said, Game Rant was the one I covered yesterday. I've seen a few publications get upset because they did not get review codes for the game. I can understand how that could be an issue for a lot of places. Like, if you're a game reviewer and you don't get a code for a game, obviously you can't make your review until later on. One, it's going to cost you money, which is going to hurt your bottom line. But on top of that, if you can't get your review out early, the later it takes to get it out, the worse it's going to be for you. You want to get your reviews out early. You want to get your guides out early. And the longer it takes to do that, the worse you're going to be off. You want to be one of the first ones to do it. I can understand these publications not getting review codes for various reasons. It is also kind of a line you have to dance when you are a reviewer too. If your company's putting out games and you're constantly bashing them and saying nothing but positive or negative things about them, you're more likely not going to get codes in the future, just because it doesn't help that company to give codes to someone who's only going to say negative things about their game. Whether they're warranted or not is a different story. But at the same time, you don't want to just fluff up a game all the time, especially if it's not a good game. So you kind of have to dance that line there. That's one reason why I kind of respect a lot of people that don't rely on codes and put out their reviews after the games come out. But that's a whole other separate thing. But that's just one quote unquote controversy that's going on right now, is that some places haven't gotten review codes. Quite frankly, I don't care about that. I respect smaller creators when they've actually got the game and the rest of us can see it as well. So really, until that happens, I don't really care about what the bigger guys say about the game for the most part. Especially since a lot of journalists, a lot of reviews for games, especially like Metacritic and stuff like that, they don't really match what gamers are liking either. So, not overly worried about that one. But even if we just go in here, you can see that people are really just scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as content. People are talking about there was a day one patch already sent out for the game. Obviously, the people who do have review codes are playing the game right now. They've had it for a few days already. They've already gotten a patch. We haven't actually gotten patch notes for that yet, or I think we do have them. They only just came out, but they didn't want to spoil anything. But a lot of the stuff that is quote unquote the update is literally them just talking about one interview where we were told there's going to be legendary ships, which we already knew. A lot of these things just are not updates. It's just people really trying to put out content until tomorrow's launch. And don't get me wrong, so am I. And I even have a few things I wanted to talk about in this stream that I decided not to make a video on about. I'm just going to do the live stream instead. And like I said, the first thing was going to be we've already talked about that, was the boundary issue, that apparently the planets, you cannot just walk around them straight. There are boundaries. Again, for me, not that big of a deal, but I'm still going to give Bethesda the ding on that one, because the way they talked about it, they didn't correct anyone when they said, hey, you can walk around the planet. They made it seem as though you could do so when you couldn't actually do it. You can explore the whole planet, but you can't walk around the whole planet. Now, for someone who has played No Man's Sky for about 1,000 some odd hours, I'm really going to try to walk around a planet too long. I've yet to try to walk around an entire planet. You're not going to do it unless you're just trying to do like some kind of special run where you walk around one planet. Most people are going to explore a planet for a few minutes, do a mission there, and go off to the next one. With 1,000 some odd planets, no one's going to be trying to walk around it unless they literally just want to explore the planet for like some kind of content creator or something like that, like a challenge. So not overly worried about that one. Like I said, PlayStation players, I've seen people really pissed off about this. I don't want to dive too much into the PlayStation drama, just because I hate, and I do mean I absolutely hate, the console wars. I don't think it's good for consumers to have console wars. I'd prefer if games came out for every platform, with very few exceptions. The only real things I would say would be exceptions, and I only say this just because I played this game for so long and I don't ever see them making this a multi-platform game, is Pokemon. And I say that because there is no way Nintendo is probably going to let go of that property or let it be on anything other than a Nintendo system, even though they would probably make a lot more money doing so. But yeah, first-party exclusives, it's the nature of the beast. If it's not a first-party exclusive, then personally, I don't see why you don't release a game on every system. I understand these exclusives are a way to get people to buy the system, and then, of course, to buy games on that system. I get it. I understand the nature of it. I just think it sucks because it leads to stuff like this. And honestly, if I was a PlayStation player, or I had a PS5, and I saw Starfield wasn't coming to the game, I'd be pretty pissed off too. And I think a lot of what's going on is the players are honestly just disappointed that the game is not coming to PlayStation. If I didn't have PC and I had PlayStation, I don't know what I would do, because I really want the game, but I cannot afford to go out and buy an Xbox or to go buy a new PC now. Now, luckily, I've had a PC for a while, so I can play it on there, but I can understand where the PlayStation players are coming from, and I can also understand why they're reacting the way they are. It's just lashing out. I get it. Hey there, Chilby. Welcome to stream, buddy. That's the buddy I play with. You guys might see him in some of the Destiny videos I do. But Yeah, I completely agree that, or completely understand where the PlayStation players are coming from. Just a quick story here. When I first saw Starfield, if you've seen the earlier videos I did on it, I admitted that I purposely avoided any information about Starfield because I knew I was going to be excited about the game, but I hate waiting for games to come out. I always hate when the Destiny DLCs and releases come out because they show what it's going to be 6 months in advance. I get excited about it, and now I got to wait for 6 months really wanting to play this game. So I purposely waited to cover any Starfield news because I knew as soon as I started diving into it, I would more than likely really, really want to play it. So it was a win-win for me. Wait to cover it because either A, I'm not going to want to play it anyway, so no reason to cover it now, or B, wait to cover it because I'm really going to want to play this. And when I first started looking it up a little bit ago, I didn't realize that it wasn't coming out on PlayStation. In fact, I saw, I think at the end of one of the trailers, the Xbox logo pop up, and I was like, oh shit, is this even going to come out on Steam? Now, luckily it has, but if it didn't come out on Steam, I would probably be pissed off just like the PlayStation 5 players are. So it is what it is. It's just the nature of the beast when you have first-party exclusives. Nothing you can really do about that until we get to a point to where there's either just one game system that, or everything is crossplay. And I think that really is what we need is this crossplay. We're seeing that a lot more with games coming out now. I mean, I just talked about Destiny 2. So Libby here is in the chat. We play Destiny 2 all the time. I play on PC. Most of the guys I play on Xbox, or most of them don't play on PC. Most of them play on Xbox. So crossplay, I think, is where we need to go with most of these games. At that point, if every game, especially multiplayer games, are cross-play, then it just becomes a matter of playing on the console you prefer because you like the UI or because you like the features it has. Just like getting a phone, getting an Android versus an iPhone. I mean, my wife and I are Android people. I can still call my brother who's got an iPhone. We like the phones for different reasons, and there's different phone designs. We like them all for different reasons. So you can get whatever you want, but still play the same games. And I think that's where we need to move to at some point. But I don't think we're anywhere near close to that. I don't think we're going to get close to that until gamers really, really start pushing back on some of these anti-consumer practices. But again, that's a topic that we can talk about for hours some other time. So let's see what we got on here next. The news that keeps popping out all day, and I say all day because I've been watching videos all day about this supposed news that's popped out for Starfield, is that they talked about legendary ships being a part of the game. Again, that's just something that was kind of offhand mentioned in an interview. It's nothing game break or it's nothing earth shattering, but we're seeing entire videos being made about it. Again, I understand trying to make whatever content you can out of whatever info you have. But it's really nothing. I mean, we kind of knew there were going to be big ships already. We don't really know what the legendary ships are. We just know that they're called or that they're classed as legendary ships and that you're going to have to really build up to beat them. Now, whether that means the ships are just going to be really strong, really big, have some kind of legendary special parts, maybe a combination of the three, maybe all three, we don't know. But we do know there are going to be legendary ships, so legendary ship battles are going to be a thing. Game length. Game length is something that was supposedly a controversy. Pete Hines was talking about his time playing the game in an interview. It was a German interview I was talking about, I think, and it might have been a different one. I think he's mentioned it a couple times, but he mentioned how I think he got a call from someone, and they asked how he was enjoying the main story so far, and he was like, "Oh, I hadn't even been playing the main story. I'm like 150 hours in. I haven't played it all." And he mentioned that he thinks people he said that the game itself doesn't really open up until you beat the main story. And he also mentioned that there were just hundreds of hours of side quests that he just kind of got sidetracked and didn't do the main mission. Well, people took that and spun it to mean that it takes hundreds of hours to get into the game. That's not what that means. It just means that there's hundreds of hours of stuff to do in the game besides the main story. But people were taking that and complaining, and again, that's with some people in PlayStation. This were some people that I think just don't like Bethesda. They were like, you shouldn't have to play a game for 100 hours to get into it. It doesn't make any sense. Or if it takes 100 hours to get into the game, then it's a shitty game. That's not what that meant by any means. I think they said the main story takes about 50 hours is what they're averaging. But he was asking, I think the question that was asked him was, how long should you play the game to really kind of get through the main story? And he was like, there's no real number of hours he can give to say how long you should play the game before you do the main story. It's a Bethesda game. You play it how you want to. You can go in and do everything but the main story, which is what a lot of us are going to do. You can go right in and just do the main story, and that's all you do. Hey there, Hex. How you? Degenerate. What's up there, buddy? But that's all that meant. Patrick Williams, what's up there, buddy? Patrick Williams, how you doing? Hex, he's another guy I play with in Destiny 2. But yeah, that's all I meant. So just because there are hundreds of hours of side quests to do in a game does not mean that it takes 100 hours to get into that game. Now, I also understand that people don't want to spend tons of time in a game that they're not going to be into for that amount of time. There was a pretty good YouTube video done a while ago, and the premise of it was pretty much, is it okay to play a game, or would you try to get someone to play a game if it took 100 hours for it to get good? And the premise of it was pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of games, if somebody told me, hey, this game gets really good, but you got to put 100 hours into it first, I wouldn't want to play it. And I think to this date, there's only one game I would recommend to play that it would probably take 100 hours before it really gets good, and that's Final Fantasy XIV. I think my name gives away who I am a little bit. Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV is the only one, and this is kind of a aside from the Starfield thing I'm talking about. Final Fantasy XIV is the only game I would say, if you put in 100 hours, then it becomes worth it. And I say that because the DLCs, there's currently the main game and 4 DLCs, they all tie together, and the story gets better and better and better as you go. And I guarantee, if you like story content, if you play Final Fantasy XIV, and you get to the very last DLC and you get through these, it is completely worth it. It's the only game I would say that if you put the time in, it becomes worth it. Now, it's not a bad game at the base game, don't get me wrong, but the story picks up exponentially as you play, and it is literally the best story of any video game I've played to date. I'll say that hands down. Final Fantasy XIV has got the best story to date, and I played all the way through Endwalker, the newest DLC. It's got the best story of any game I've played to date. And I'm not necessarily a huge MMO fan either. I kind of got burnt out on MMOs after I played Star Wars The Old Republic, and I stopped playing it once they introduced the cash shop. I think that was back when they came out with the Rise of the Hutt Cartel. I remember that because I stopped playing because I got pissed off that needed real money to get a lot of the stuff. And at the time, I was a broke college student, so I took pretty much all the spare money I had just to get the damn subscription every month. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm old, but how do you tackle these games where it's hours to get to tutorial missions? Exactly. And that is something else, too, to this. Imagine live service game that has a good story. Yeah, it is crazy. Don't get me wrong. Final Fantasy XIV is one of those live service games. And Yoshi P, and I know I've gone, it's become a Final Fantasy stream now, but Yoshi P, the designer, I forgot exactly what his title is, but the guy basically in charge of the game right now basically said he's got a philosophy. Once you're done playing your expansion, you don't got to stick around to the game. Go play other games and then come back to the next expansion. That should be what games are doing. Keep in mind, Final Fantasy XIV is an MMO. It is technically a live service game, and they are constantly drip feeding us content. But he flat out said, when you've gotten what you want out of the game, go do something else. Turn off your membership. We'll be here when you're ready to play again. And that's what people do, and people keep coming back. So it is amazing. And like I said, it's the one game where I would say it is worth it. The base game is more standard MMO fare. You're the hero, yada yada. It's a pretty simple hero story. But then you play the DLCs, and the simple story you thought you were playing, it just becomes huge, and everything ties in together really good at that final DLC. I'm not going to ruin anything in case somebody wants to get into it. But if any of you guys ever want to play Final Fantasy XIV, let me know. My wife and I play. I think you can actually play the base game for free, and I think maybe even the second DLC now are free. I know the first one's free. In fact, that advertisement is a meme in the game right now. But if you ever want to play Final Fantasy XIV, go ahead and play it. It is free for the base game. The first DLC is free. I think that's about 100 hours right now. By the time you hit that first DLC will gut punch you and have you hooked in the game. That's the one that's going to do it. And then the ones after that is really, you're going to be playing for life. But like I said, that was a whole rant about just about this situation here. Again, this ended up being a controversy that's not a controversy. Again, people complaining about a positive, and that's how desperate some people are to make this game look bad, even though the game's not even out yet, and B, how desperate people are for content. I think there have been some videos I saw today where people are already working on accounts to basically review bombed the game on Metacritic. I mean, people are salty as hell about this game, and it's not even out yet. Now, like I said, don't get me wrong, Bethesda is not above criticism whatsoever. I was there for Fallout 76 from day one, and I remember everything that happened with it. First off, the game ran like shit. I remember I didn't get any of the special editions, but I remember that Power Armor edition, that helmet that came with it. I remember they had to recall that because of the crap that was inside of it. I remember that the jackets that they gave out for the game were terrible quality, or the ones they were selling, they were terrible quality. I remember the bag controversy. They had bags that I think the special edition was supposed to come in. They were supposed to be this canvas bags that were really nice and well made, and what they gave out were these shitty falling apart plastic bags, but they were giving these cool bags to the influencers and the YouTubers who were covering the game. There were a lot of issues with performance in the game, and with people crashing it, with people duplicating items, with people hacking items into the game. The engine itself that Bethesda uses, the creation engine, there have been a lot of people asking them to use a different engine, or a lot of issues with that engine over the years. In Fallout 4, it had a lot of issues, and that game came out years ago, and then they tried to make a live action MMO using it for Fallout 76, and it's terrible. Now, the game's performance has gotten better over the years, but I remember the first couple of weeks, I mean, people were crashing servers, duplicating items. They were crashing servers using base building stuff to do it. If you try to launch 2 nukes at once in the game, it would crash it. I think they tried to launch 3 nukes at once to see what would happen, and it shut down the server. So, I mean, that's the last thing Bethesda did. I haven't forgot the Battle Royale mode that Bethesda came out with that was out for a few weeks. They got rid of it. It hasn't been anywhere. It came out, it was really popular, but it had a lot of cheaters on it. People were killing you from across the map, so it was riddled with cheaters. You couldn't even play it. So yeah, Bethesda's not above criticism, but if we're going to criticize them, let's criticize them for something they actually did or something that they're actually going to do. Let's wait for the game to come out. And again, don't get me wrong, Bethesda games are known for 3 things. They're known for having deep, rich stories, huge games, and having the buggiest games on the planet. Now, part of that makes sense because, again, it's a huge game, so I'm going to pull up some random tweets here. It's going to be a huge game, so there's going to be bugs in the game. I understand that. It's not like you're playing Mario or something. I mean, these are huge games. A lot of the stories intertwine. There are tons of side quests, tons of things you can do. And again, the engine, it is aging, and it does have some limitations to it. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, it's going to have bugs. Now, they do a pretty good job of taking care of them, but some of the newer games have had more bugs than really are worth it, or not really worth it. I would say more bugs than people are used to, and people are also starting to get tired of well, it's Bethesda, so they're going to have a buggy game mentality. And I completely understand that. At some point, I mean, if you didn't have the internet to correct these bugs, what would you do? If you remember back in the day when you sent out a game or you sold it, it'd be on your disc or your cartridge, and that was it. You couldn't fix any bugs, so anything that was on it was done. Now you can patch out any bugs that there are with the internet, but has that made developers lazy, or is it a combination of laziness and the game's just being too big now, or being so big that it's just you can't get rid of all the bugs? Destiny 2 is another one. Again, I play Destiny 2 all the time. There are bugs every season. The beginning of this season, actually, they had to get rid of loadouts or lock those away because there were issues crashing games. I was pissed because I got so used to the loadouts that I forgot what combination of armor I needed to even make my loadouts, and they just re-released them again, and the loadouts are broken. I actually just got through playing with a friend of mine, Don, and we did Dawn of Terror, and we did Legendary Savathûn Spire for Season of the Witch this season, and my loadouts were not working. I would click on them; they were not bringing the armor in like they were supposed to. My stats weren't correct. None of my classes were correct. Bugs almost, yeah, exactly. We got bugs almost weekly for the game, and Destiny is, like I said, I talked about this earlier in one of my Destiny videos. When Final Shape comes out, if that DLC does not, or that expansion does not hit it out of the park, I think a lot of people are going to be done with the game. That is pretty much the stopping point for people for the Light and Dark saga. That's it. The Light and Dark saga, this is the last expansion for it. After this, there's going to be a whole new story. Well, if this one doesn't do it, no one's going to want to stick around for that new story. So people who have been with the game since Destiny 1, or even who just got in Destiny 2, when they see the end of this story, how they handle this next DLC is going to depend, or is going to determine if we want to stick around for another story too. Back in the day, if there was a bug for an NES game, they just released a new cartridge with a patch and make you buy the game again. Exactly. Make or break. Exactly. And now it's not even these little bugs. I mean, we have game-breaking bugs at this point for both single and multiplayer games. For multiplayer, I'd say it's even worse because these bugs, if you can exploit them, you affect how other people play too. And let me show you a bug here. This is going to be an older one here. Let me get on to, let's see, Fallout 76. Let me see if I can see that that video that was out for a while. Here we go. Here's a video from Young Yang. This was obviously a while ago, but just to give an example like what some of these bugs and some of these issues are, this was for Fallout 76, and their game was so janky that they actually had hackers that can go in and steal another player's items. Like, literally, they walked up to them, they would steal all their items, and there was nothing they could do about it. Like, that gives you an idea of the kind of bugs we're talking here. Imagine if you played WoW, and you could literally walk up to somebody and steal their items. There would be riots in the damn street. And now we have Fallout 76 doing that. Now, again, Starfield is a single-player game, so I don't think we have to worry about that, but it's the bugs that I am worried about. And I keep harping on the bugs here because the developers keep saying this is their most polished game. Every time we hear about an interview or we see an interview, they keep saying that this is their most polished game, their most polished game, this is their most polished game, the most bug-free game. You know where we heard that before? Or where we heard that before? The pre-release to Fallout 76. And when they were saying that this game had, 16 times the detail that Fallout 4 did and how this was so bug-free, we heard that when we were beta testing this game, and we knew it was buggy, and the game was going to release in like a week or two, and there was no way to possibly get rid of the bugs that we were finding. I remember when I beta tested Fallout 76, I was one of the people doing it, and we were finding so many bugs that we knew there was no way they were going to get rid of them. We were making videos about it saying, hey, these bugs are insane. There's no way they're going to get rid of all these bugs in time. And lo and behold, they did not. I don't believe for a second that this is their most polished game, or if it is, that may not be a very high bar. That's probably a very low bar. I mean, having 2 less bugs in your game is still a buggy game. But we'll see how again, I'm speculating at this point, but at this point the speculation is warranted because it's based off of historical data from Bethesda. Again, just on the Bethesda games that I've played, I mean, there's been more, or for Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, all of them extremely buggy games, but the further back you go, the less bugs there were on the discs. And again, I played Morrowind and Oblivion with no internet. So what bugs were there until I eventually got it. Again, for the Fallouts, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, all buggy games. Now, oddly enough, while New Vegas had a lot of bugs, it still seemed to have less bugs than Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 did, but they were also made by a different company. Fallout New Vegas was made by Oblivion. I'm getting tired. Fallout New Vegas was made by Obsidian, and it's one of the reasons why people keep asking Obsidian to make the new Fallout games or new Elder Scrolls games. Now, I don't think any of that original team still works at Obsidian, so I mean, I doubt that would make a difference now anyway, but that was a really popular idea for a while, was to have Obsidian make some of these games too. That way we could have them, 1, more often, and 2, have a better quality of them. But yeah, they're claiming this is their most polished game. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. So what I'm more than likely going to be expecting is that the game's going to come out. It's going to be great. I'm going to assume that the story is going to be good, because that's usually what happens in a Bethesda RPG. The story is going to be pretty good. It's probably going to have some really cool ideas. There's going to be a couple of game-breaking bugs. We're going to get some, I know there's already a day 1 patch. We're probably going to get a couple more big patches as we go. And part of this, too, is there's only so many testers at Bethesda, only so many people that can play. So once you have 1 million people playing, too, we're going to get a lot more bugs that are going to be flying in. So really, we're going to be beta testing the Bethesda games. And at this point, on a Bethesda launch, I really just kind of consider the official launch as a beta test. And then we send them the information. Hey, there are these game-breaking bugs. And then over the next month, we're going to see patches patching this stuff out. I don't think for a minute that they're going to patch out every bug, because even to this day, Skyrim has bugs that have not been patched out. That's usually handled by the community with the mods, which is my next topic on here, is going to be the modding community. I'm going to give me just a second. I've been talking a while without drinking. Now, mods are going to be a big one for Starfield. Now, if you don't remember or never played it, we were promised to have mods for Fallout 76. I kind of thought that would go out the window when they introduced a item shop. They introduced a cash shop. In fact, I was 100% sure they would never do mods at that point, because why do mods when you can charge people for something? And then we had mods in the game. We can just make the item ourselves or get it for free. So I knew we weren't going to get mods in the game. Really shitty. But that's a different game. For Starfield, I fully expect it to be a thriving modding community. And in fact, I know they're already working on a mod right now. They're already working on the community patch. And there we go, make a break. Starfield is bust. Here's always Crota's in. Yeah, no kidding. There's always Crota's in. And yeah, that is kind of hard for me too. There is a lot of games coming out in like a couple weeks span. And I'm putting Starfield at the top of the list for a couple of reasons I'll go into for here in a minute. But we've got Starfield. We've got the new season of Destiny 2, which features Crota's End, a reprised raid from Destiny 1, one I never got to play, by the way, and I haven't missed a raid since Vault of Glass came out, so for me this is huge. I've been in every raid race since then. I haven't finished one, but I've been in every one since then, so I can at least say I was there. We got, like I said, I just got Armored Core the other day. I haven't finished it. And the Pokemon Violet and Scarlet DLC is coming out, which is huge. That one's not coming out to the 13th, though. But a lot of pretty big games coming out. I'm putting Starfield at the top because, one, I like Bethesda games. I mean, I made it pretty clear. Two, I like RPGs. And three, I think this game, honestly, is going to do good for my channel. Like I said, I really regret not sticking to making videos when Fallout 4 came out. I do want to make guides and stuff for Starfield. Excuse me. So that's why one of the reasons I'm really sticking to it. And again, I just really want to play a Bethesda space game. I think it's going to be cool. I've heard people complain to say it's just going to be Skyrim in space. I don't know how that's a bad thing. So, yeah, it is what it is. But for mods, I know they're already working on mods for Starfield right now. They're already working on a community patch. For those that don't know, there's usually a community patch that is just it's just literally a patch for all the bugs that are in there. There are modders that kind of get together and they work on this community patch. We all send them the information. They figure out what the issues are, and they make an actual unofficial patch for the game, and they update it as we go. Now, of course, Bethesda will patch out the bugs as they go too, but like I said, there are still bugs in Skyrim right now that haven't been patched out, and there's still a community patch for that game that's active and is still being updated as far as I know. Same thing for all the Fallout games. There's community patches for it, and I fully expect that there's going to be a very, very diverse modding community for Starfield. I'm sure there's going to be let's be honest, a lot of Star Trek mods and a lot of Star Wars mods. I fully expect there to be a bunch of modded planets to come out soon. There's going to be different shaders, E and Bs that come out. There's going to be a lot of XXX mods that come out for it. Yay for community patches. It's amazing to see people already playing mods. Hey, BK Gaming, how you doing? Yeah, they're already playing the mods for it. This is kind of a funny story. I had no idea that Skyrim and Fallout had so many XXX mods that were out there. I had no idea that there is a whole, if you don't know, and YouTube might not like this, there is a whole community of just porn modders out there. It's insane. And some of these mods are pretty cool looking. There's a lot of detail in some of these. Like, I've actually found some of the adult mods that had some more story-related content or item-related content that wasn't adult-related that were just really cool. And there's a lot that are just, holy shit, this should be on Pornhub type stuff. So I actually found that out playing Fallout 4, looking through mods, actually watching a lot of MXR. Check out his channel. But yeah, there is a whole seedier back room community for modding for these games. So I fully expect there to be some some Princess Leia's and some questionable outfits at some point in here. But yeah, I can't wait for the mods for this game too. I never really got to play games with mods until I got my PC, and then of course I realized that the modding community was huge for these games. I think I went back and played every, well, not every, but I played from Morrowind on, as far as with other games with mods, and it's a whole different experience. I mean, I love it. And I like that you can have mods on consoles now. Now, it sucks that they are Creation Club mods, but it is still nice that there is some kind of mod you can do, or some kind of modding scene on the consoles you can do now. Speaking of Creation Club, I am fully sure that there are going to be a lot of paid mods as well. So be ready for that one to drop. I don't think there's been any mention of the Creation Club being added to Starfield yet, but I'm sure it's going to be there. For those that don't know, Creation Club is essentially paid mods hosted by Bethesda. Now, typically mods are something free. They're kind of a labor of love. You can usually donate to modders, and you can usually find them on sites like Nexus Mods. Typically, you find the mod you want, you can download it for free. And if you want to donate to the mod author, you can. A lot of them have Patreons, or you can kind of donate through the website. But a while ago, Bethesda came out with something called the Creation Club, which is exactly that, paid mods. Now you can submit, I think you can submit your mods to try to make it a paid mod, and I think you get so much money per mod downloaded. I forgot exactly how it works, but I expect that to pop up probably not within the first, I'd say probably the first month of the game being out, maybe a couple weeks. They're not going to really want to put something out that's going to break the game too much yet, and you can really break the game with some mods, but I don't expect that to come out for maybe about the first month, and then they're going to introduce it. I remember playing Skyrim mods that just changed the whole game, like being able to fly, enhanced dungeons like Rabbit Hole. I liked Rabbit Hole. Add new elements. And settlements for Fallout 4 was a game changer. Yes, it was. In fact, there was a mod in Skyrim. Let me see if I can find that game. One of the mods in Skyrim actually became their own standalone game, and I haven't played it yet. I've got it. I bought it. I just haven't played it yet. What is it? Forgotten City. If you remember Forgotten City, that was an excellent mod in Skyrim, and they actually made it a game. It's here on Steam. I bought it. I just haven't installed it. It was an amazing DLC. It was an amazing story and had a great mechanic in it, and I love that one. I have not played the game yet because I don't have time with the kid and everything now, but that they made that into a game, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of stuff you can do in Fallout 4 and Skyrim, those mods, I mean, they open up the game. One, they fix a lot of problems, and I fully expect there to be a lot of mods that either A, fix problems in Starfield, and a lot of the problems, I say problems, and a lot of it's going to be just quality of life stuff. Like menu changes, stuff like that. I mean, there's usually new UIs that come out. There's menu changes. A lot of weapon mods that you'll find on some weapons and on others. A lot of that is going to be added in, but there's going to be a lot of mods that are going to come out that I'm going to like. But yeah, the modding community period, it opens up the games, and it makes you want to play them again, and it makes the games just that much better. And I said before, if it wasn't for the modding community for these Bethesda games, I don't think they would be as big as they are or have gotten as far as they have. Because one, mods they give you a reason to play the game again, and oftentimes it completely transforms the game into they can even add in different stories. And then two, it fixes a lot of the bugs that are in there, so you can go back and play without having to worry about the issues that you had before. I've had a lot of game-breaking bugs. I think the last time I played Oblivion, I got the save glitch. I tried to save the game, and it would just crash, and my game was crashing, and I just modded that one. I was having a pretty good time playing it, too, and I was only about halfway through the game, and it got the save glitch, and once you have that, your game is pretty much screwed. So I pretty much haven't gone back to Oblivion since, and I went back to Skyrim and Fallout 4, but yeah, I cannot wait for this to come out. I cannot wait for the mods. Really, that's pretty much everything I had on the list to talk about. I mean, there's stories coming out. I mean, I'm sure there's. As a matter of fact, let's take a look here real quick. Let's take a look at the YouTubes here. Let's look up Starfield news. Let's see if there you go. See, everything is saying big updates. All these videos I've already watched. Ooh, it's me. All these videos I've already watched. 50 hours, review in progress. Okay, Open World Games. I know he's someone I watch a lot. I know he got a code and he's been watching it. But a lot of these things that are saying, hey, there's fantastic news. Here we go. Fantastic news and a big warning. Yada yada yada. All this is them talking about the legendary ships that are in the game that we already knew about it. Or they're talking about, I think one of these was don't ruin your game. He was just talking about skills. And I went over some things in the skills videos I talked about. As far as I can tell, you can't actually ruin your character. If there is no level cap, you can always unlock every skill in the game, so you can't actually ruin your character. Now, you may make it harder on yourself in the beginning, but I've already gone over the skills in the game that I think are going to be necessary. And again, I don't know if all you guys are going to be playing or not, but for those that are going to be playing, I mean, even Bethesda's come out and said, get the jetpack skill, because you can't use it without it, so that's going to be the first one you get. I said to go into the medicine skill, because you're going to be healing in the game no matter who you are, and to make sure to have one kind of weapon specialty. And then piloting is more likely going to be something you want. So those 4 skills are pretty much ones that everybody are going to need. Past that, you can do whatever you want to. So you can't actually ruin your character. But other than that, the big news everyone's talking about are the invisible walls, which we've already talked about at the beginning of the stream. Definitely playing 8 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to be on it as soon as it comes out. I think it opens up as soon as I get off work. So I've already talked to my wife. She's got the baby for tomorrow night. So I'm going to be up playing and getting guides out as soon as I can for the game. But yeah, it's just the invisible walls, and it's the BS drama that's come out. And actually, I want to go ahead and end on that too. I want to end on this drama that's come out for this, and I want to show you some here. Game Rant, Starfield. Let's see if they got Starfield. Here we go. Adorable. Oh yeah, and I guess Imagine Dragons came out with a song for the game as well. But update before it's even out. When you start playing, okay, I'd have to go through and find them all. But somebody actually went through, they brought up the article that I had brought up before about them saying that the DLC was in trouble. And apparently there were a bunch of other articles that Game Rant had written, and they were all just fucking, it was just clickbait, and it was all nothings. That's all that's going on right now. It's really kind of sad is that everybody is just freaking out over this game and it's not even out yet. Just because either A, it's not coming to their system, B, they just want views and they know that rage gets you clicks, or I think some people just legitimately want to hate on Bethesda just to hate on them. Now, I can't say that I haven't earned that reputation, because if you played a lot of these games, millions will be playing more. Yeah, they will. Again, if you got the game, make sure you preloaded it, but I'll put that video out last night. Mine is ready to go. Yeah, millions are going to be playing this game tomorrow. But yeah, I think a lot of this is just some people are just salty that they can't play it. Some people are just tired of Bethesda. And I'll be honest, I can understand them being tired of them, because not everybody's got the tolerance for bugs in games. And Bethesda definitely has a reputation for that. But with the last couple of games they've had, especially Fallout 76, they really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. 76, I keep talking about that game, but that game really hurt Bethesda's reputation. Both because of how they handled their game and all the bugs that were in it, and because of how they handled, I guess, the merchandise part of it too. So the game itself and how they handle stuff in real life. That really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, myself included. A lot of people were just kind of done with Bethesda. They don't want to give them another chance at all. A lot of people are just worried about this being a new IP in general, because the last new IP they got was that first-person shooter that tanked. And like I said, some people are just, they don't tolerate bugs at all. It doesn't matter how big the game is, or, you know, if they're going to patch them out or not. It's just unacceptable to always release the bugs. And I understand that. I talked about it before, that Bethesda really is going to have to up their game or change their engine so that there's not so many bugs all the time. I don't know of any other company that can consistently put out games as broken as Bethesda can and still keep the rabid fan base that they have. And again, I say that as one of those people. I absolutely love Bethesda games. I've got every Bethesda RPG from Morrowind on my computer right now. Or maybe not installed, but I own them all. And my wife owns a couple too, and she's not a huge RPG fan. So, yeah, that's all we're hearing right now until pretty much the release tomorrow. Is just going to be more people complaining on Twitter about the game. Leaks. Again, leaks are a big one. I did see some leaks earlier. A lot of what I thought and speculated on, I was right on. I'm not going to say what, though, because I'm not going to spoil anything. A lot of other things is still kind of up in the air. I've been real selective with the leaks I'll look at. I I don't read too deep into them, but I did see a couple things that kind of confirm my suspicions. Not bad things, by the way, I might add. They're good things. These are things I'm looking forward to playing. But let's see. I don't think Starfield going to be Cyber 27 again. That's how bad the launch for that game was. You get a reminder there. Hold on one second. Cyberpunk 27 is also another game that's kind of put people off on some of these bigger releases. It's obviously a totally different company. I think it's going to be an epic game. I'm going to spend so much time just building my own outpost. Exactly. Cyberpunk 2077, and maybe you guys, I think I mentioned this once in a different video, but it's been so long I'm going to kind of mention it now. It might be my fault that these games are releasing bad. So, believe it or not, I did not used to be a huge gamer. Back when I was on active duty in the Marine Corps, I mean, I had an Xbox. I would play Halo with my buddy on the weekends, but I was never as big of a gamer as I was now. I got out. I went to college. I think in college is when I A, started playing Star Wars Online, and B, started playing Minecraft one day out of boredom. And honestly, Minecraft is what got me into gaming big time, believe it or not. If you never played Minecraft, a lot of people are like, oh, it's a kiddie game or not. No, it will fuck your life up. Don't get me wrong. But I really started getting into gaming in college, much more than what I had been before. I'd always liked video games, but I really wasn't into them nearly as much. But I remember when Diablo 3 was coming out, and I'm talking the original Diablo 3. I never played any of the other Diablo games, but everything I heard from everybody, they were all excited about it. This was back when you could still pre-order stuff from GameStop. I don't even know where my GameStop's at anymore. I don't even care about them. But yeah, I had actually pre-ordered Diablo 3 because everybody was ranting about it, saying it was going to be great. I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm going to be there. I was at the midnight launch for Diablo 3. I was at GameStop. I picked up my copy. I was there on the servers that night, and I got in for like an hour total after like an hour, and that was it. Now, I was thinking, of course, hey, it is what it is, but for those that know, Diablo 3 was basically a shit show when it first came out. I beat the game on like the hardest difficulty, like hell mode, after like a week. It was not overly difficult. And they had actually put a cash shop in the game, long story short. Legendary drops were extremely rare, and I think at one point they had like an auction house where you could actually buy items for like real money or some crap. It wasn't good. I think they ended up relaunching Diablo 3. From what I understand, it became a much greater game. After that first week of Diablo 3, I never went back. But that started a trend with me. Whenever I would buy a game in advance, whenever I would pre-order a game, it did terrible. Just to kind of give you some ideas, I pre-ordered Diablo 3. I pre-ordered No Man's Sky. Remember how that went, or how barren that game came out. Now, it's an awesome game now if you haven't played it, but No Man's Sky, when it first came out, it got terrible reviews. It was like world news damn near. What else? Fallout 4. People were pissed off when that one came out because of how screwed up it was. Let me go down the list let me go down my Steam thing, or my Steam here, see what other games I pre-ordered here. 7 days, yada yada. Code Vein was not one. Oh, Destiny 2. I pre-ordered Destiny 2 when that first launched. Was not in a good state. Let's see, what else did I pre-order on here? Dying Light, Elden Ring. Didn't pre-order Elden Ring. I got it after it already come out, but that might explain why the game was awesome too. A lot of these games I did not pre-order. New World, that was one I had pre-ordered already, and I was one of the beta testers for it. As far as I know, I think that's like a dead game now. Outriders, I pre-ordered it. It was a decent enough game, but ended up being too short, and was one of the few games that people actually wanted to be a live service, and they did not make it one. And then they came out with a DLC for the game months down the line, I think maybe a year later, and the DLC basically fucked up everything that the main story did. Like, they took the main story ending, which was passable, and then they gave us a DLC, said they would never give us another one, and then gave us a cliffhanger. It was like a big fuck you. It's fucking terrible. I haven't touched it since then. What else was there? I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but every time I pre-order a game, it turns out terrible for it. Oh yeah, Fallout 76, we talked about it, so I am worried about it for that. It might be my fault that these games are doing poorly. It might be a curse for me, but I'm looking forward to a lot of this stuff too. And then BK Gaming said, yeah, he's looking. This is going to be an epic game. He wants to spend a lot of time building his own outposts and doing ship combat. I'm looking forward to those two. I'm looking forward to everything, to be honest. But if I had to choose one thing, I would definitely probably say researching items and the outposts are going to be the big ones for me. I liked doing the settlements in Fallout 4. I hate starting them. Once I get the first couple going, though, I love doing them. So I have a feeling I'm going to like doing the settlements in Starfield. I'm worried about maybe there might be a limit as to how many we can make, because with 1,000 planets, I don't know if we're going to have the memory to save 1,000 outposts. I mean, literally, like, are we going to be able to save that much information? But we'll see. Ship combat. I know we can have at least 9 ships. I saw in one of the trailers that were kind of scrolling through ships and it said, 4 out of 9. I don't know if that's how many he happened to have or how many we're going to be able to hold, but I know we can hold more than one ship, so I'm looking forward to ship combat and ship design. I played a lot of Space Engineer, so ship design is one of the things I like doing a lot in that game. I used to just spend hours just in creative mode just trying to make the perfect ship. Never could do it, but I also came up with a lot of designs. I would always try to incorporate a lot of different systems into it, like drop pods and the perfect weapon systems and the sleeping quarters and getting everything to match up perfectly. Like it was crazy, but I enjoyed doing it. It was really cool. It looks like shipbuilding is going to be fairly easy in this game, and I can't wait to design my own ships. What else is there? I think that's about it as far as stuff I had to talk about. Like I said, the next 24 hours is just going to be people excited, putting out random videos. I do got one more video coming out tomorrow, I think around noon. I go over all of the backgrounds that are available in the game that we know about. I had the class or the skill videos. I had 2 come out today where I went over all the known skills. So I have that video for the backgrounds tomorrow. I'm going to be playing the game, like I said, at launch. I'm going to be streaming it right here. So I'll be live with that tomorrow as soon as the game releases, or if not, shortly after. I've got, wife and kid. Like I said, the wife's going to be watching the baby while I play tomorrow for that first day. But after that, we're just kind of have to balance out that work-home game life balance. But I am going to be putting out videos as soon as I can. Some of the big videos I'm looking to get out are one, experience farms. Those are ones people are going to want. Legendary weapons and armor. People are going to want those. Here we go. Reviews come out at 11. Yeah, so those are going to be a big one. Those reviews coming out, so I'll be there to watch those. Guides on where to find certain armor and certain weapons, especially static ones. Those are going to be good. We know legendary items exist in the game, and we know they can go up to 3-star, or at least a 3-star, just like Fallout 76, because we saw a trailer, or not a trailer, but live action of that happening in one of the interviews. So that's going to be pretty cool. Guides on different systems and skills. So pretty much any kind of guide I can make in the game, I'm looking to make that as soon as I can. Especially things like farming guides or outpost guides. So those guides that people are really looking for when a game comes out, I'm going to be trying to make those as soon as I can. I'm going to try to take my time and make them well, but I'm also going to do my best to get them out early and as quickly as I can. But that's pretty much it. Right now, it's just a countdown until the game comes out. As of right now, we've got about 10, so we got about 21 hours before the game comes out if my math is correct, so it's just a countdown until then. So that's going to do it for me for tonight, guys. Like I said, I got the one video coming out tomorrow, and then it's going to be me back here live again. So like I said, thank you all for coming by. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I am really going to try my damnedest to grow this channel this year and stick to... That's one thing that pisses me off, is that I started this channel around the time that Fallout 4 came out. If I had stuck to making videos the way I have this last week, I would probably have a pretty decent sized channel right now. And I did not do that, and that is completely on me. So I'm going to do my damnedest to actually stick to that this time. And get these reviews out, get these guides out, and to stick to content creating. So... that's going to do it for me for tonight, guys. Thank you all for coming by, and I will see you all in space tomorrow.